The wipe for EXFILZONE's been delayed. What does this mean? Is it bad? Is it good? Let's get into the reasons why. We'll look at the official announcement from the devs themselves. We've been working hard at preparing for the next wipe with the goal of delivering a quality update for all players. Along the way, we've encountered some challenges that require a bit more time to properly address. And as a result, the second wipe has been postponed to September 18th. So as of recording this today, that is 16 days away. We sincerely apologize for the delay, but we want to ensure this update not only meets our quality standards, but also improves quality of life for different types of players while fixing known issues. Okay, I like that statement and that sentiment here. To make the extended pre-wipe period more enjoyable, we're giving every player 10 million in-game credits, unlocking all items. So I'm assuming things that were, even though you had max traders, there were things locked behind tasks and missions that should be available now, if I'm interpreting this correctly, and boosting high-value loot spawn rates. The update pre-wipe event will go live this Friday, so enjoy these last crazy weeks before the official wipe. In the meantime, we'll continue sharing teasers of the enhanced gunsmith system and more details about the smuggling tunnel. Stay tuned for future clips. Thank you for your patience and your support. Caveman Studios with this picture, which is a funny picture. All right, W devs. A delayed wipe, inherently, like, first reactions, disappointment, sure. Right? We've been looking forward to the wipe. Now, I will be fair and clear. The nomenclature and the words used to describe when wipe date was very, very carefully picked. So they said it was targeted for September 4th, right? And targeted does not mean guaranteed. So already, it's not like they said wipe was definitely happening on a certain day, and then that target is missed, and we can be upset about that, sure. But that's not the case. It said targeted. They used the words carefully, because, and this is going to be me inferring a lot of stuff here. All right, everything I'm about to talk about and say is inference from my end. Now I know a lot of you know I work with the devs for like voiceovers as of lately, and I talk to the devs often, but I don't really I don't know the deep like development cycle of what's going on. I don't know like the bugs they're working on. I don't really know, like, I kind of get announcements almost in the same avenue that you guys get announcements, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is, my inference that I'm about to be making isn't because I have some like background secret intel knowledge about what's going on behind the scenes, all right? They delay the wipe, even though they didn't set an exact day for the wipe. So one, I don't think we should really be upset about that. Why would the devs delay the wipe, quote unquote, right? Why would they push it back another couple weeks? If you were making a game, you would probably want to hit your targets, right? But let's say the game isn't in a state of quality that you're comfortable with, all right? So it would actually mean if you release and say, we said, you know, we're going to be right around the 4th for wipe, we have to release it anyways if it's not done yet. That kind of behavior and work ethic can actually cause more damage to the player base than fix it and help it just to meet like a deadline, right? That you've set, okay? They want to make sure the game and the patch for this big wipe and big change, which we'll talk about some of the changes as well, is going to be up to standards. Because what's worse, and chat I know, and YouTube I know, a lot of you have played updates for other games, especially in the VR field, that have just been absolutely embarrassingly broken and game breaking, to where it's like, why would they ever release it in this state? Okay, why would they ever release something to the public in the state that I'm playing it in right now? It's really damaging. So it gives me hope, and it gives insight into the devs at Caveman Studios' work ethic, okay? Now, we'll know for sure, and I'll be able to gauge this, and all of us will be able to gauge their decision for delaying it a lot better when it actually comes out. Because if it's still delayed and then they still release it in a almost unplayable state, then, you know, we have some things to talk about, right? We have some things to talk about. Like, that's not going to be very acceptable. But if it gets delayed and the bugs are small, because I can almost guarantee stuff's going to slip through the cracks anyways. Like, they're not a big studio. Most VR game devs are not big or even experienced studios. So Q&A, inherently because of that, is also incredibly small and has less experience than these AAA big money companies, right? So stuff will still slip through the cracks. We'll just have to see how much does when it finally comes out and how game breaking that experience is. And then if those things do exist and they're plentiful, or they're ruining the experience for us, the player and consumer, the next thing is, how quickly are they going to address all those things, right? So all in all, Wipe's been delayed till the 18th. It was originally targeted at the 4th. The reasons the game devs are giving is because if they released it early and hit the targeted date, it would be in a state that is not up to their quality standards, which, if true, is a really good sign, okay? It is a good sign. I know we all want to get our hands on it and play it as soon as possible. I get that. I'm in that boat as well. If they don't think it's up to quality standards, please don't give us something that's half-baked, okay? We've gone through it too many times before with other VR titles, and honestly, I'm pretty sick of it. I can't just like bite my teeth and go, this game is awesome, I love this game, when it's just so broken, man. With all that being said, we will have to wait and see what we get with the new wipe, because, once again, if you guys know anything about game dev, which I know a lot of you don't, making a game engine change, not just like update 4.1 to 4.6 of Unreal Engine, even that jump comes with a lot of like back-end fixes, coding changes, nomenclature changes, the way the game objects work change. So like, you have to kind of rebuild a lot of the game, or at least edit the game drastically to make it work with all the changes. But they're jumping from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, which that alone is a huge mouthful, a huge bite to take off in terms of making sure the game works across the change. So if I had to take a wild guess, that alone, the change from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 is probably taking up most of their time, okay? I can almost guarantee you that's taking up most of their time. But for good benefit. Why don't we just take a look at, why don't we ask good old ChatGPT the differences for VR specifically that Unreal Engine 4 and 5 bring, right? I have a VR game fully built in Unreal Engine 4. I'm wondering what benefits would I gain from converting everything to Unreal Engine 5. All right, let's see what the AIs that everyone hates says. We can get a little bit more insight on this, chat. And then later on, I know you guys have been giving your opinions this whole time. You guys can see that at the top right. I'm gonna ask for more of your opinions later on. Okay, short answer, says ChatGPT. You'll gain a more modern toolchain, better animation, physics, audio, world building, collaboration, and open XR support, which is very VR related. But headline UE5 rendering features, Nanite and Lumen, are still tricky for VR and often end up disabled. If your current Unreal 4 build is stable and performant, upgrade mainly for workflow and pipeline wins, not for flashy graphics. Why you'd likely gain useful for VR. OpenXR, first VR stack, Unreal Engine 5's VR template and subsystems are built around OpenXR with better device, action mapping, late latching, and hand-eye tracking extensions. Fewer legacy VR quirks than Unreal Engine 4. So it sounds like Unreal Engine 5 came with a lot of better and upgraded tools for VR development, which is huge. We're talking about a VR game, so that's very good. Enhanced input, cleaner action axis mapping, better corded inputs per device context, huge quality of life improvements. I'm gonna move this over here. Animation system upgrades, the IK rig, and the IK retrograder. You could have like, okay, so that's inferring, you know, the custom body that you have, right? You know how sometimes you'll turn or your arms, like your elbows will bend in very strange ways because it's trying to infer where your body is based off of your controllers. So apparently that gets an upgrade. High quality retargeting of mocap, marketplace animations, great for hand poses and full body rigs. More natural interactions when vaulting, ledge grabs without custom code heavy lifting, faster, more flexible pose animation blueprints, chaos physics replaces PhysX, more stable rigid bodies, cloth vehicle destruction, better substepping and async. Now I know a lot of this is like verbiage that you guys probably can't relate to. That's fine. Just know, I'll kind of break it down a little bit. I don't understand all of these either, but I know some of them. A brand new, more stable physics engine in VR, completely replacing the old PhysX system, is a big deal. It's probably one of the big points they were talking about, like, things won't fall through the map as often. They claimed it won't happen at all, but that's a pretty boastful claim to make, to say stuff will never go through the floors anymore. But I think inherently, based off of this info, it's going to be much better, okay? It's going to be a lot better. So that's good, especially in VR. You want a good physics engine. Niagara improvements, what the hell is that? More performant GPU particles and ribbons. Nicer muzzle smoke, dust, debris in VR with fewer hacks. Interesting. It would be cool to see them take advantage of it. Imagine some muzzle smoke coming off of the gun. Dust and debris. I don't know if the standalone headsets can handle it and it's not very taxing GPU wise. It says way more performant, so those might be more possible with Unreal Engine 5. It's kind of a big deal. Meta sounds and modern audio, low latency procedural audio, better spatial and routing, convolution reverb, great for presence in VR. So big sound engine upgrades with Unreal Engine 5. I hope they take advantage of it. Better world building, editor tools, long-term ecosystem is just overall better. So the reason I'm going into like what Unreal Engine 5 brings is, once again, probably one of the biggest time sinks for this wipe update is making sure everything works and things are utilized in UE5. So, I mean, that's kind of everything, chat. That's kind of everything. I think I've given you my takes. I think I've explained why the change from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 is a huge time sink, but comes with lots of VR benefits that we as the consumer will just get to reap the rewards for. It gave us a lot of insight on the quality standard. They're not willing to release something that's half-baked. And at the end of the day, I appreciate that.